You want to tell people what we've got here actually right now?
Sure. It's from our friends at BuzzFeed. It's 24 everyday things you never knew even had a purpose.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of stuff that like you see all the time and you didn't even know had a purpose. Like the first one, I think, is the first one the pens?
Yes.
The first one is like there's a hole on the top of pen caps, like pen caps.
A ballpoint pen.
Yeah, they're ventilated, and I never knew why. And so it'll be stuff like that. So the first one is the pens.
Right.
What is the purpose of the hole in the pen? I kind of assumed it was to let air in and out so that maybe the pen could get air.
Yeah,
Does
a lot
the
of
pen
people
breathe?
think it's so the pen doesn't dry out, or that it's meant to keep a pressure balance to prevent the pen from leaking. The real reason, however, is to lower the risk of suffocation in the instance that a small child were to be chewing on the cap and choke on it. The hole keeps the airway from being closed up in its entirety.
That makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Because when you sit and think about it, like to not dry, like air would dry out a pen. If anything, like you'd want no ventilation for the ink. But yeah, that makes sense. So that if it gets lodged in a child's throat, there'd be a pathway for air.
Right.
I mean, you still would need to get it out, obviously, but the child would have a less chance of dying, I would think.
Sure.
All right.
How about the little teeny hole in the windows on airplanes? Have you ever noticed that before?
I have noticed that, and I kind of thought it was like a thing securing maybe two pieces of plastic glass.
Right.
What is it?
Well,
I never thought it was actually, I thought it was maybe...
It does two things. The first thing is it prevents the window from fogging up.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Sure. The second thing is it's a compensation for air pressure. So when the plane goes up to a cruising altitude, there's a huge difference in pressure between the inside and the outside of the cabin of the plane.
Sure.
That hole is there to regulate some of that air pressure difference so that the outer window doesn't have to do all of the work.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
The little extra piece of fabric that comes with new clothes.
I assume it's for, like, if you need to do a quick patch on your clothes, like maybe you need to sew, another piece of fabric onto the pants that you just ripped.
That's what a lot of people think, but you would be mistaken. The manufacturer includes those little samples of material so you can actually test out, like, your laundry detergent.
Oh, that makes sense.
To see, you can spot test your laundry detergent.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have thought about that.
The little teeny pocket on your jeans, the little pocket inside the pocket, typically, at least on women's jeans, on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I assume it was exactly what it is, a little pocket maybe meant for holding, I don't know, change or a key.
It was originally intended to be where you kept your pocket watch.
How classy.
Right.
And now we have phones.
And then you have the little...
Boy, they should make, like, special pockets accommodating phones now. Like, to keep your phone at, like, closer to your skin than the actual pocket.
Sure.
Do you think that'd be a good idea, or am I on my own there?
No, I have a pocket for my phone. It fits perfectly in my back pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, like, on your side.
Oh, well, maybe. And the little rivets, the little metal rivets on your pants.
Oh, the like the stud buttons?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are rivets. It's two pieces that are put together and pressed together. When Levi's made their first pair of jeans, it was, I guess, pretty common for the seams to tear because of the stress being put on them by people who worked outdoors and miners and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So the rivets actually exist to strengthen the pants at the most likely places for them to wear.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I mean, I assumed like those little, they look like backwards buttons almost, like metal buttons.
Sure.
I didn't even know. I guess I thought they were fashionable. I don't even know what I thought. I mean, I've always noticed them. I never thought why they were there, what purpose they served. You're compelling me here, Kat. You're knocking me out here.
Yay. Do you know the reason that your Chuck Taylors have the two little round holes on the sides of them?
Lots of shoes have like ventilation holes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, so that your feet don't stink. Maybe get some airflow so your feet don't stink as much.
I mean, that seems like the obvious reason would be ventilation, but there are people that think that the Converse All-Stars, because they were originally made as basketball shoes, that laces could be looped through those two extra holes to create a snugger fit on your foot.
People do that?
Well, the Converse was like the original basketball
Right,
shoe back
yeah.
when basketball was invented.
Oh, so when people would play basketball with them, they would do that?
That's what they're saying, yeah, is that they would use that as an extra security point to
Make them tighter? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Have you ever noticed the little teeny hole at the end of a tape measure?
Yes.
You know, when you pull a tape measure out and it's got the little metal...
And it's like the metal thing is like
Goes
jagged.
like
It's
this.
always jagged.
Yeah.
And there's a hole at the end.
Yep.
I assume that would be for like if you want to like dangle it from something like you're measuring, like maybe you have a nail or a screw hanging out of a wall. It would more easily affix to that when you're like measuring to the floor or whatever.
That is actually really pretty accurate. It's there to hook onto nails and screws so you can measure safely without the tape measure slipping.
Yeah, look at me. Okay, that makes sense.
And then the little serrated edge itself, the little rough
because it's
part,
always jagged on the edge,
Yeah.
like a saw.
that's so you can kind of measure or mark where you're measuring from, but without, because your hands are busy, you're using the tape and you can't mark, but you can
Okay, so if you need to
still
like
leave a little
indentation on like the wall or something, it's more like a saw as opposed to like a blunt object. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is blowing my mind, Kat.
The hole in the handle of your pots for your stove, they're useful for more than what you might think. You might think that they're to hang your pots, but they're
Yeah, I guess I did.
actually, you can put your spoon, like if you're using a wooden spoon, you can put your spoon in there, and then the messy end of the spoon hangs over the pot, and the
drip into
handle
the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Cooks are so brilliant. I'm always
Right?
amazed when people can cook.
Did you know that there's a hole in a pasta spoon? Do you know what that's for?
Are you talking about like the ladles that have holes in it? It's like when you're scooping soup or whatever?
Well, I'm talking about a pasta spoon, which a pasta spoon has the little tongs that come up, not tongs, prongs that come up around the sides, and there's a big hole in the middle.
I'm with you now. Okay, yeah.
So that's what you use to get out pasta, because those little prongs grab hold of the little,
I would assume it would be to let any like water or dampness drip out.
Sure. That's the primary purpose, but you can actually use that hole. It's just about the size of a single serving of spaghetti, so you can use it as a measuring tool.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
That's the purpose of that?
That is the purpose of that. The arrow next to your gas gauge.
Okay, this one I know. I learned this one recently. The arrow next to your gas gauge, which I barely ever noticed before, it points which side of the car your gas tank is on.
Right.
I never noticed that, but it's true in every car I've ever seen.
Sure.
Huh. And you want to give us one more before we split this, and then we'll come back in a few minutes?
Sure. If you want to know why one side of a bobby pin is bent into the little zigzag, you got the smooth side and you got the zigzaggy side.
Because now I find them all over my house because I live with a girl, my girlfriend Brittany.
Yep.
I see bobby pins. Why is one side jagged and one side straight? I literally have no idea.
Well, the jagged side, it's to help the bobby pin stay in your hair better. But a lot of people think that you put the smooth side of the pin down and the jagged side up, but you actually put the jagged side closest to your scalp. So the little jagged side of your bobby pin, that's actually the quote-unquote bottom. That's the part that you would put next to your scalp. It helps it stay in your hair better.
I see. Okay. You women are so amazing.
Right.